Jrose11 does a series on YouTube where he solo runs Pokemon. He wanted us all to do a Clefable run, and then he's going to mash it up together. In my attempt at it, I had no idea how to get a Clefable from the start. I thought I could just put one in later, but as you can see here, I totally broke my game trying to do so. So after some tinkering, finally figured out how to get Clefable. So I got him to level 5, and then we can start the run. It took me about 7 or 11 minutes to get myself here, and I went to Viridian Forest and then right to Brock. So I just went for Brock, minimum battles at this point. Really didn't think I'd be able to do it. Clefable does have Minimize and Sing. Minimize, it's a luck strategy, and Sing in Generation 1 is broken because you don't attack on the turn you wake up. So I went back and forth on if I was going to use Minimize or not, and I'll talk about it a little bit later. But to this point, I'm using it just because it started with it. I wouldn't teach it to it, and it just happened to work really well when it was using Bide. I could just minimize, and this took forever. But as you can see, it's pretty close. And then I actually first try beat Brock, so I was pretty excited about that. Honestly, I checked my Clefable after because I was like, that was way better than I thought. So I was just making sure everything looked good, and those are the stats, so looked good. Then we go to Mount Moon. Jrose does have a nice table for how, what level he beats the game at with the Pokemon and how long it takes. I haven't actually ran through the whole game in a while, so I did not take the most efficient route. I go for Rival 2 before Misty here. Sand Attack was a pain in my rear end. And I did teach Water Gun at this point. Metronome seemed like a fun thing, but it's just way too inconsistent. So we went for Water Gun. I also needed PP points. So Water Gun's got 25 of them, so that helped out quite a bit. And just barely beat Rival 2 here. So then I jumped to Misty. I'm trying to do as little battles as possible, but there's some accidental ones. But I come in with Staryu and I go for Sing, X Defend, which is perfect. Not that it's raising its defense, but that it didn't do any damage to me. And then we've got the Starmie. It's pretty much go for the Sing, but at this point I missed so many times I might as well not have. But Sleep is just that overpowered. I don't love the Sleep strategy, and I don't love Minimize, but we have them, so we're going to use them for now. After this point in the game, I really don't end up using Sing a whole lot more, and I don't believe I use Minimize at all, because we get Body Slam here, so I'm actually able to get rid of Double Slap and get a much stronger move. And I keep Water Gun around just because of the power points. Body Slam has about 15, and I don't want to keep going back to the Pokemon Center every time. So I Body Slam Pidgeotto on Rival 3, one shot, which is great, no Sand Attack, one shot to Eradicate, which is great. Kadabra's a Glass Cannon, I outspeed, one shot. Then we have Ivysaur, so really no problem at all on Rival 3. And to this point, I have first tried every major battle. I gotta rub this captain's back real quick, kind of a weird, but I first tried every major battle so far, and spoiler alert, we're gonna do the same thing for Lieutenant Surge. Clefable's an absolute monster. It's got an incredible moveset, which I don't even utilize to the fullest through some of this because I just don't need to. There was really no battle up to this point, and again, spoiler alert, moving forward a little bit, that I really had any difficulty with. So, we'll see my time at the end of this thing. My time is not great, but I would imagine if I ran this over 4 more times, I would have a much better time just with those small inconsistencies. One thing you might notice if you're able to see my team while this is moving fast, I forgot to catch a Spearow. So I don't have Fly right now, so I'm going to have to cross that bridge at some point, but I don't have a Pokemon that'll be able to use Fly once I get it. We go through Rock Tunnel, and here is the hiker with, 3 Pokemon that can use self-destruct. So we go through, and I've got Water Gun, which one-shots them all, so not a problem. He's probably the only non-gym leader Giovanni rival person that I would consider a notable battle. I do have to teach Thunderbolt here because I was running out of power points to get through Rock Tunnel. So this is where I get rid of Minimize. So I really didn't use Minimize aside from Brock. I just decided that's not really what I want to be doing here. Can't remember the official rules on it, but so I've watched pretty much all of Jrose11's videos, and just some things that I never think about is how he spends his money. How many repels do you need to get? Is it worth it to get repels? Are you not going to be able to get a calcium or an iron or something later down the road? Something he does talk quite a bit about is TM usage. I was pretty conservative with my TM usage here. I really didn't want to get stuck needing a TM later. One thing I was a little disappointed on, and again, spoiler alert here, I really didn't get to utilize the badge boost glitch almost at all in this run. Minimize was about the only thing that I could do, and I did that on Brock before I even had any. There are some incidental like tail whips and growls that happen to me where I do get the badge boost, but I would have liked to try to use that a little bit more in this one. But honestly, Clefable is just so good. I really did not need it. So then we're here to Erica. I did actually accidentally run into an extra trainer in this gym. So, overall, I'm probably like plus 10 on unnecessary battles. So I don't know what my level is going to look like compared to his when the video comes out, but I imagine I'm going to be a slightly higher level. But for a lot of these, I really don't think the level matters. I mean, there's very few where I'm, right at the end of it for my life points on this. Vileplume is scary. It can put me to sleep. We knock it out, no problem. We go ahead. We take care of the Marowak. We get the Pokeflute. I'm just trying to honestly get rid of all this extracurricular stuff so I can go right to the gyms. I go in against Gary. And I don't heal because I'm just so cocky at this point, thinking I don't need to. Clefable's just that good. I'm gonna one-shot everything. And I should be able to one-shot most things aside from the Venusaur I believe he has at this point. Alakazam uses Recover, which is good. It does outspeed me, so that's good to know. I go for Ice Beam, and then, yeah, there we go. So now we go in and we heal, now that we realize we can't be that confident about our Clefable. And now that we've got that extra little cushion, as long as Alakazam doesn't do anything crazy here, Disable, fine. And Venusaur, 2-shot. Goes for Leech Seed this time, so we're all good. Giovanni, he's a pushover. Being able to learn Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, and Psychic are just incredible moveset. It's really all you need. And the Stab, Body Slam is also just great for some extra coverage. So then we go to Koga, and now we can just kind of run the gambit of all the gyms here. Koga was not much of an issue here. I do believe, if I recall correctly, the Wheezing will use a self-destruct, but I believe we tank that if that does end up happening. No, it uses X attack. Oh, there we go, self-destruct. We tank it, so we're all good. No problem there. Then we go to Sabrina. Heal my Pokemon quick. And Sabrina is very easy. Normally she's, I would say, probably the hardest gym leader out of all of them. But with Kadabra and Alakazam just being so weak to defense, Body Slam just takes care of everything. Venomoth could have been a problem potentially, but it is not. Psywave, fine. So then I'm going to pause here. I can't believe I got this wrong. Look at this question. Okay, so I use some of the proteins and calciums I use. Those are the only stat boosting items that I used, just ones that I found on the ground. So if that matters for any calculation. At the end, I didn't end up buying any additional. So look at this question. Let's see. Caterpie evolves into Butterfree. No, it evolves into Metapod. Can't believe I got that wrong. So there's another accidental trainer I had to battle. I could have reset, but I didn't. So it went through pretty quick. I kind of wonder, one thing I do wonder in these challenges, are there some easy trainers that would be worth it to beat to get higher levels and not have so much trouble at the end for some of those Pokemon that hit a wall at some point and you have to train or do other things? Would it be worth it to battle more along the way? I don't know, but that's a thought that I do have. And then Giovanni, I mean, we've got Ice Beam. So again, and I haven't taught Psychic yet just because I don't know if I'm going to want something else at some point. Like if Laurelie's just a pain, I don't want to have to delete Psychic later. And up to this point, I just haven't really needed it. Any fighting Pokemon usually goes down to Body Slam, and any poison type, we find a way. So this is always a good test to see how we're going to do against our final battle. And honestly, I just cook them. So there's really no issues here. It makes me feel pretty good going into the Elite Four. Now, during the Elite Four, we can't save in between battles, okay? So this is all just one straight run through. If I lose one, I have to start over. But we have Thunderbolt, so we go ahead, we go for Thunderbolt. Um, it's really all you need. Slowbro was probably the scariest one, but it ended up just buffing itself, and I didn't have to worry about it too much. Jinx did do some good damage with the critical hit, but it's very weak, and we put it into potion range, so that was good. Thunderbolt Lapras, Thunderbolt again, put it into potion range, so not an issue, because their good AI is very good. At this point, I decided to teach Psychic. I wanted Sing in case there was like a Dragonite that was just a problem, but at this point, I just wanted to beat Bruno, and he was no problem once we had Psychic here. Just took everything down very quick. And then Agatha, this is one that I'm starting to wonder, okay, are we going to have troubles here? So Nightshade is not what I want to see. I want to see pretty much anything but Nightshade. I do have Psychic because everything she has is poison type. And then I get confused, so this is not looking good for me. With Drew, which is great, so I get a free shot on Arbok, and then Outspeed, and then I get a shot at Haunter. Goes for Dream Eater. I just need anything but Nightshade. I get Toxic here, Super Potion, and then no Nightshade. So we got really lucky on that lottery, so happy to see that because that could stall me pretty bad. Gyarados, one shot, no problem. Dragonair, it tanks it, but there's not a whole lot that Dragonair can do. So, we just keep going. I am a little worried about power points depending on how many hyper potions we see, but we're fine. I go for Thunderbolt here. Getting a little worried. Really could lose at any minute here. One strong attack away, go for Ice Beam, get the Hyper Potion, and the Ice Beam must have been a range because then we get it this time, so that was great. And I did get a 1 in 256 miss on an Ice Beam there, so that was also really annoying, but it didn't end up mattering. It's going kind of fast, I don't know if you saw that. So then now we are on to our final battle. I did end up using a couple rare candies. I didn't want to use them all, just because I know that I'm a higher level, probably with all my accidental trainer battles. So I wanted to try to stay a little bit closer to where the rest of the crowd is going to be. But I also didn't want to lose because I got really lucky on Agatha and I got really lucky on Lance, and I did not want to have to get that lucky again 2 times. So I buffed up a little bit. But I did feel good because of how much we've just been whooping on the rival. And then I picked Venusaur just because I thought Gyarados and Arcanine would be harder than an Executor. Maybe that's true, maybe that's not. I'm not really sure, but I don't know why I picked Venusaur. I have a super effective move against all of them, so I didn't know that it really mattered. And then we get the free win with a Solar Beam there. So there we go. This was really fun. I did appreciate the kind of call to make our own video, and I am excited to see what it looks like when you mash all these up together. Another thing I noticed is your editors are great. Editing these are very difficult and time consuming. There's my time, 4 hours, 50 minutes. There's my